Obviously, we've heard the fact that there's been an adverse finding. I know I made a big deal about adverse findings in the past, saying it's not adverse findings, it's a failed drugs test. So let's call it a failed drugs test.
Is this. It doesn't make you a better fighter. I boxed 3 drug chiefs, beat 2 of them, drew with 1 of them. It doesn't make you a better fighter. So you take your gear for whatever reason. It doesn't make you technically better. It doesn't make you throw a better jab.
UK are going to ask VADA for the report.
That has happened.
Oh, it hasn't?
Yeah.
And sampling. So if they get that, then they will take it over.
So much crap, talk so much stuff. But, and when he comes, he gets the opportunity to fight. And then he go takes his drugs. Well, what did he... Well, he drank contaminated water, I bet you money. We can't wait for the excuse.
Rico Verhoeven fails PED test before Oleksandr Usyk Showdown reports suggest he returned an adverse finding just 2 days before the Usyk fight, sending shockwaves through the boxing world. Inside sources say the situation is now under review by officials, raising major doubts over licensing, testing procedures, and whether the highly anticipated showdown will proceed as scheduled.
It's been a complete nightmare. It's been, as I say, been badly handled, and it's not done boxing or anyone else involved any favours. I mean, no favours at all. It's just ridiculous.
Derek Chisora shows zero sympathy toward Rico Verhoeven, reacting strongly to the PED controversy and questioning the constant excuses that follow failed tests. He suggests that when fighters reach big opportunities, accountability matters more than explanations like contamination. His frustration reflects wider criticism in boxing, with many now doubting Rico's credibility just days before the Usyk showdown.
Bad beef, or there's gonna be tea, or it's gonna be them burritos he's been eating in Mexico. Fucking.
Eddie Hearn takes a firm stance against cheating in boxing, stating that any fighter who is knowingly found guilty of PED use should never be allowed to compete again. However, he makes it clear that he does not believe Rico Verhoeven falls into that category. Hearn emphasizes that based on the information available and his clearance to fight, Rico should be treated as eligible on all regulatory levels.
I believe that any fighter that has knowingly cheated in a sport of boxing should never be allowed to fight again. And I do not believe that he's one of them. And I believe that from the information that's been provided and the fact that he was cleared to fight, I believe that he will be cleared.
Frank Warren assures that Rico Verhoeven, like every other fighter on the card, will be subject to strict testing, with even more scrutiny due to the high-profile nature of the event. He emphasizes that UK authorities and border control will be heavily involved, ensuring no one escapes the testing process. Warren suggests this level of monitoring is standard for such a major fight.
More testing for this fight?
He will be tested, like every boxer on the card will be tested. And I'm sure they're going to test him a bit more, because that would be the natural reaction. I'm sure of that, and he knows that better than anybody. But every boxer will be tested. It's a high-profile card, and the border control will be all over it. It's not just VADA. They're also tested by you.
Johnny Nelson strongly argues that drugs do not make a fighter better in terms of skill or technique, stressing that boxing ability cannot be enhanced by PEDs. He highlights the serious danger involved, warning that anything illegal in sport could put lives at risk. Nelson calls for strict punishment and even supports harsh legal consequences for anyone caught using banned substances.
And hit AJ, knocked him out and killed him. God forbid, if that happened. And this guy's on game, he's found out on game. And what I'm saying is that they now need to talk about legal action outside of boxing to say, if you take this, you are legally going to be prosecuted because you could kill somebody.
Spencer Oliver reacts with clear disbelief at the cocaine allegation, questioning how such a substance could even appear in a fighter's system at such a crucial time. He stresses that the situation raises serious questions and demands explanations, especially given what was at stake in the lead-up to a major fight. His tone reflects shock and frustration, calling the situation absurd and highlighting how damaging such incidents are for the sport's credibility.
Just go, how has that got in your system? He's got some explaining to do for one, and you think with what you had on the line and with what you was, what was coming up for you, and the opponent you had in front of you, you just go like, cocaine in your system is just, it's absurd. It's like, it blew me away because anyone that knows Joseph Parker knows that he is a clean living athlete who and we've seen the improvements over the recent performances, and he's worked.
Paul Smith explains that drug testing in boxing often detects only trace amounts, not necessarily performance-changing levels, which can lead to confusion and controversy. He suggests that unexpected positives can sometimes come from accidental exposure, though he does not confirm any specific case. Still, he admits the situation is surprising given the timing.
At the time,
Who
don't forget,
that?
when they're testing, they're only testing for a trace. It's not an amount, they're testing for any trace. He could have been counting money. I'm not saying he has, I don't know. But it's very surprising to me. And,
Well, I mean-
and listen, I want to ban them all, ban every drug.
Yeah, I
for
mean,
life,
there
but
is a difference between.
Peter Fury makes it clear Rico is fully confident and focused on the belt, not intimidated by Usyk's reputation. That mindset shows belief and ambition at the highest level. But confidence alone won't decide this fight. Against someone like Usyk, confidence must be backed by discipline, timing, and elite fight intelligence under pressure.
But he's definitely not, trust me, you know, I definitely don't tell lies. He's not coming like looking at Usyk like he's a god and he's unbeatable. That's not what he's looking at. He's looking at that belt and he's imagining it on his mantelpiece. You know, he's confident, he's super confident.
Eddie Hearn acknowledges Rico Verhoeven's elite striking background and power, giving him respect as one of kickboxing's greatest. However, transitioning that skill into boxing is a different challenge. Against Usyk, pure striking strength may not be enough. It will come down to adaptability, timing, and how well he handles elite boxing rhythm.
Parker, there has to be some consequence, and whether Joseph can produce enough of a strong evidential position to get himself up from underneath remains to be seen. I hope personally.
Eddie Hearn acknowledges Rico Verhoeven's elite striking background and power, giving him respect as one of kickboxing's greatest. However, transitioning that skill into boxing is a different challenge. Against Usyk, pure striking strength may not be enough. It will come down to adaptability, timing, and how well he handles elite boxing rhythm.
Tyson Fury, Francis Ngannou, Alex Pereira, Conor McGregor, line them all up, right? And say, right, which one would you want to fight the least? Fucking Rico Verhoeven. He is that dangerous of a man. And with the kickboxing, and again, people just don't know this, is kickboxing is like three-minute rounds. The intensity is fucking insane. They are punch, kick, punch, kick, punch, kick. They're just, they're fierce. And if Rico brings that into the boxing, I think it's going to be a...
Johnny Nelson is pointing out how crucial it is for Usyk to handle Rico's intensity and adapt under pressure. The talk about Usyk's training camp shows he is being pushed extremely hard by elite sparring partners, which suggests serious preparation. However, the concern is whether Rico's raw power and unorthodox style can break that rhythm. If Usyk loses control even for a moment, Rico's aggression could change everything. This fight is shaping up as a real test of endurance, skill, and mental toughness.
To do that, we've got to be able to pull that out of Usyk. So once he can pull it out, but if he can't, and Usyk gets on a roll. Listen, I'm hearing stuff in Usyk's training camp. Usyk's training, and I mean, he's got 5 big guys. He's got 5 fast guys that he's sparring with, and he's smashing them to the point where it's got to this last week, they're only letting him do 6 rounds. The 5 guys, the 5 heavyweights that he's mashing.
Rico Verhoeven shows confidence in his preparation, explaining how he studies opponents and adapts his style. He believes he is not a typical boxer and that unpredictability gives him an advantage. That mindset makes him dangerous because he is aware of his own flaws while still trusting his ability to create problems. However, against someone like Usyk, experience at elite boxing level matters more than surprise tactics. Rico's challenge will be turning his kickboxing intelligence into controlled boxing success.
Of course, we watch a lot of footage, and every fighter has his openings and has his weaknesses. So do I. So that's how we approach it, and we just try to show him something different that he hasn't seen before. So, like, I'm not your typical boxer, and I think
Oleksandr Usyk remains calm and unaffected, treating this as just another fight in his career. That mental approach is exactly what makes him so dangerous at elite level. He does not allow pressure or hype to disturb his focus. However, dismissing the threat too casually could be risky if Rico brings unexpected aggression or power. Usyk's strength is discipline, movement, and ring IQ, but he must stay sharp from the first round because this is not a normal opponent.
Maybe he comes out like a lunatic and hurts Devin. Maybe he bites Devin. Maybe he leaves the ring during the fight. Maybe he no masses on his stall.
Johnny Nelson highlights Usyk's dominance and questions the financial motivation behind this fight. While Usyk has already achieved everything in boxing, this matchup brings new intrigue rather than legacy progression. That raises the stakes in a different way, turning it into a business-driven spectacle. Still, winning remains essential for Usyk to maintain his top position. The pressure is not just about performance, but also perception, as fans and critics will judge whether this crossover fight was worth the risk.
Oleksandr, what he's done, he's wiped the floor with everybody. He's established himself at the top there. So now you look at him and you'll think financially, will he be in a better position than Tyson Fury? No, not in my opinion. Anthony Joshua? No, not in my opinion. The big money fights aren't out there for him. So he's got to do something. He's got to put himself in a position where he's got to win, because he's proved he's top draw. So in this fight here, I think it creates interest, intrigue. I'm quite sure there's a healthy pay packet at the end of it. This is now business for him.
Dave Allen is very clear in his opinion that Rico Verhoeven, despite being an elite kickboxer, does not belong in a boxing match against someone like Usyk. He respects Rico's achievements but strongly believes boxing and kickboxing are different worlds. His argument focuses on safety and realism, calling it a mismatch at the highest level. While he acknowledges Rico's ability, he still feels this should only be an exhibition. The concern is that stepping into a real heavyweight boxing fight could expose gaps that experience alone cannot fix.
Doing, yeah. But I'm not interested in. I like Rico Verhoeven, sparred him, know him, nice fella, very good kickboxer, one of the best of all time, but he's not a boxer. If he wants to fight,
can he box?
Yeah, he can box. He's a very good boxer, but he shouldn't be boxing the best heavyweight in the world. If he wants to do it as an exhibition, go and do it. I'm not interested in Usyk Verhoeven, just for the simple fact it's a mismatch.
Fabio Wardley raises concerns about the level of opposition Rico Verhoeven is getting at this stage. He respects the opportunity but questions whether Rico has earned a shot against elite boxing competition like Usyk. His point reflects the wider debate in boxing about crossover fighters entering world title conversations too quickly. Wardley suggests Rico should face top professional boxers first to truly prove himself. While not dismissing him completely, he clearly believes this is a massive step up and could expose the gap between kickboxing success and elite boxing performance.
Understand that he's kind of earned the right to do what you want, but I at least expected it to be some sort of active boxer, someone of some... Not to say I don't actually know much about Verhoeven in terms of a kickboxer, of what his quality level is, but what I'm saying is I expected it to be someone of a decent caliber of a professional boxer. But if it's not, then fine. Look, do your thing, do you, and hopefully he returns to actual professional boxing against some of the top elite.
Paul Smith offers a balanced view, acknowledging both sides of the debate. He understands why some fans are frustrated about Rico jumping the queue, especially with ranked contenders waiting for their chance. However, he also recognizes Usyk's achievements and the idea that champions sometimes earn the right to take different kinds of fights. Still, he leans toward the belief that this matchup disrupts the natural boxing order. His main concern is fairness within the division, suggesting that belts should not be involved in crossover fights like this.
A long time and not really done much in boxing at all to warrant a shot at Oleksandr Usyk when there's a queue so big. And
Indeed.
You know what I mean? And that's the most important thing. The people who are sitting waiting for their shot in line are going to be fuming over this. Some would say, to counter their argument, Usyk's probably earned the right to have an easier one.
Spencer Oliver is openly critical of the situation, questioning how Rico Verhoeven can be placed in a world title context after very limited boxing experience. His frustration reflects a broader concern in boxing about sanctioning bodies allowing crossover fights to bypass traditional rankings. He believes it undermines the sport's credibility and makes the system look unfair to established contenders. While not doubting Rico's athletic ability, he strongly disagrees with the decision to position him so close to a heavyweight world title opportunity.
Kid's had one bout as a professional boxer. You go, so, you know, how can he jump the queue and box Oleksandr Usyk for the WBC title? To me, that doesn't make any sense at all, and I think it makes a mockery, again, of the W.
Simon Jordan suggests there is a deeper motivation behind this crossover fight, beyond just sport. He implies that Usyk's decision is influenced by commercial appeal and the success of previous crossover events like Fury versus Ngannou. His view highlights how modern boxing is increasingly shaped by entertainment value and financial incentives rather than traditional rankings alone. While he does not dismiss the fight, he questions the reasoning behind it, suggesting it is part of a larger trend where business and spectacle are driving major heavyweight matchups more than pure sporting merit.
And I can see how the monetization vehicle of this works, but Usyk wouldn't be doing this unless there's a reason for it. There must be a motivation behind it. It must be some form of derivative as to what happened between the various disciplines crossing over with Ngannou.
Peter Fury makes it clear that both Rico Verhoeven and Usyk were willing participants in making this fight happen. His tone suggests mutual respect between two elite combat athletes stepping into a crossover showdown. He emphasizes that fights like this are easy to arrange when both sides are open and motivated. However, the underlying implication is that this is not a traditional boxing path, but more of a high-profile collision of disciplines. It reinforces the idea that this bout is driven by ambition, curiosity, and legacy risk on both sides.
Rico wanted the fight, Usyk wanted it. They said both ultimate fighting men, aren't they? So fights like this are not going to be hard to make.
Ade Oladipo highlights Rico Verhoeven's dominance in kickboxing, describing his rise from prince to king of the sport. His respect for Rico's credentials is clear, especially given his knowledge as a kickboxing fan. However, he also subtly acknowledges the uncertainty around how those skills translate into boxing at the elite heavyweight level. The comment carries both admiration and curiosity, framing Rico as a dangerous but unproven force in a boxing context. It reinforces the central question of whether kickboxing greatness can truly transfer into world-level boxing success against someone like Usyk.
Oleksandr Usyk steps in and will take on one of the greatest kickboxers of all time. I'm actually quite a big kickboxing fan, so I know quite a lot about him. I've watched a few of his fights over the years. They used to call him the Prince of Kickboxing, and then he elevated to the King of Kickboxing. I mean, he's a very, very, very good kickboxer. Who's got decent hands. I can't lie to you. It's funny, yeah?
Wade Plemines expects Usyk to dominate but still leaves room for unpredictability, referencing past upsets in combat sports. His comparison to heavyweight chaos moments shows that no fight is entirely predictable, especially in crossover bouts. While he leans toward Usyk's control, he acknowledges Rico's physical danger and the entertainment factor of the matchup. He also raises a wider point about Usyk's priorities in the heavyweight division, suggesting this fight may not align with legacy goals. Overall, his view balances expectation with uncertainty, treating it as a spectacle with potential surprise moments.